Peace, love, and light, guys. It's your guy, Professor O, coming through with a dose of that good yolk. I'm everywhere like broken glass. I'm around like a circle. Anyway, anyhow, let's get down to this round now. Today, I want to talk about avoid being an emotional dumpster. Now, wow, this is pretty cool, and this is actually very, very serious. Why? Because you got to realize we're in an age, and it ain't nothing new under the sun. Please understand that. But we're in these times right now, people will literally look for individuals to dump off their negativity because they don't want to take up responsibility and accountability for how they act. You got to realize there's certain people out here that just they're dirt, shit, patooey, literally, right? But instead of doing the inner work, we're going inside and looking within themselves and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I am a piece of shit. Maybe I need to pick up this dustpan and broom and clean up my act. Maybe I need to be patient. Maybe I need to show love, be kind, have some empathy, show a little sympathy, something like that. All right? You got to realize this. Literally, if these people avoid doing these traits, and if these traits literally aggravate them to a T, then that literally means that these individuals are evil. And that's totally fine. It's just understanding that they're just going to stay shitty all their life. And that's fine. You can't, I'm not here to judge or prolong anyone's path or how they operate. Definitely not my job. But what I am here to say is you can't literally, all right, you wanna put on cologne, but you ain't take a shower. Nah, that's cheating. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's not fair. Why? Because now you want to walk around smelling good, and you only going to smell good for a period of time until the heat come on. Then when the heat is up, you're going to show what you are, and then it's going to be like, oh, you stink. You musty. This, that, and the third. Simple as that. Like, why would you even put on the cologne if you ain't shower? Like, logically, it didn't make sense. But it is what it is. And you also got to realize these individuals here are literally, they're emotional dump. They look for something or someone to emotionally dump off their negative emotions just because they want to be positive. But instead of actually becoming positivity, they want to kind of just give it off to the next to see if they can, you know, like, oh, that's so if you take the burden, then now this down there, instead of becoming the actual positivity, because they don't want to see themselves as who they are. They literally don't want to look at themselves and be like, yo, it's pretty much like this. Like, imagine, how can I say? All right, imagine you got a fresh white tea, right? It don't matter what brand, whatever. Fresh white tea is always going to be literally like a staple of being fresh. Fresh, you can't beat it, right? And they had a fresh white tea, but instead of taking responsibility for their fresh white tea and cleaning it, or, you know, doing the laundry themselves, they try to throw their white tea into your hamper. But mind you, you got a few white teas that you maintain, you clean up, you do that, but they only got like a few and they don't clean them up. They just try to throw them in your hamper. So when you do the cleaning, they'll hopefully you'll clean their white teas with yours. And then now, once they're done, they use the laundry detergent. You got the freshness, you know, the dryer pads, the dryer sheets. It's smelling very Dawny-like. It's smelling official. So when it comes out and it's ready, and now they's got washed because they was next to you and got into the same type of situation, they want to put on that because now, but they didn't do the work. So now when it's time for them to clean their own t-shirt and they're not around, they don't know how to operate the washing machine. And if they're not fortunate in the washing machine, they don't know how to get a bar of soap and scrub it up. They don't know how to make little scrubs to make it happen, make some suds, get some bubbles operating. You know what I mean? That's working in your favor. Now you clean, your hands is washed, etc. so forth. They don't know how to hang it up. They don't know how to do any of that. Why? Because they don't care about doing the actual work to be clean. And this is individuals you have to realize that you have to avoid, because they will look at you as an emotional dumpster and just take that so they can like reinvent themselves through the stress-free reality that they've ditched off. But instead of actually taking responsibility and accountability to work on themselves, but also realize this, now they don't have a washing machine and they don't have a dryer to actually do that. How does this happen and how does this work? Their tea ain't worth nothing. When it's time to project themselves and now they stand as tall and they stand as strong, they not looking official. They looking dirt. And they ever always gonna look dirty. And they don't care because they don't wanna be fresh. They don't wanna be clean. They wanna be in shit, but then have the frangles of being official. And that's the terrible part about it. So now when you're doing it, now you're looking good, now you're looking smooth, you're doing cool, everything is official, everything is official, everything is official. Had to say 3 times for the fishiness. It's looking smooth and it's looking good at all times. But now avoid these individuals because again, they don't care about doing the inner work to be able to handle their emotions. They're just looking for individuals to knock the emotions off, to put it into the others, to pour into the you know what I mean? Be careful, be very careful. But again, you know I'm long-winded. Let's get to the points here, right? They can't handle their own problems at all. They literally can't. They don't want to look inner. They always want to look out. They always want to, these are the individuals that abuse their substances. They drink, they smoke, they're afraid of humiliation. They care about what other people think, etc., so forth. And they expect to project their own insecurities onto you so they can feel like they can have a little pity party. Like, oh, I'm miserable, just down the third, so now I'm self-conscious. That means you got to be self-conscious too. If you don't get your bad bastard ass up out of here, that is disgusting, that's dirt. Take responsibility. Why do you care? You know what I mean? Nah, and then they become, they become a little bit more self-conscious about your light. Now also realizing they have the same light bulb inside of them, but they don't want to do the inner work to be able to project their own light so they can emit beautifully. Instead, they look at your beautiful light that people don't even understand. Remember, people are jealous of the glory and not the story. They so jealous of the glory of how you shine, but they don't know what happened when it wasn't shining at all. When you were doing the inner work, when you're doing the innocence, the inner looking at these things, when those nights was by yourself, when you're praying to God, admitting, building a relationship with the Holy, they wasn't there for that. They were still looking for other people to project their own insecurities over because that was their outlet. But again, instead of going, they always going to go out. Instead of going out, they don't want to go in because when they go in, what happens? I say this all the time. The light turns on. And then when the light turns on, it's not the eureka moment or the aha, is that they see the dirt for what they carry and some that they added on. Now, the interesting thing about it is that you did the inner work. And now when you do the inner work, guess what happens? You automatically turn their light on. So if you automatically turn their light on, they're not going to like the fact that you are making them feel insecure with something that they could have done, but they're looking at you because you're doing it. I need you to keep up. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter how old you are, because just because you're physically that old, that doesn't mean you're mentally that old. And vice versa. I met some children that were way wise beyond their years. And I met some adults that still need to do some inner work. And I'm not ever here to judge. Remember, you don't gotta watch my vids. You don't gotta click on the YouTube vid. But you're here because you know I'm sexy. Can you dig it? Yeah, I think you can. So sit back, relax, and enjoy watching your guy, because I'm just too cool. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. I'm long-winded. All right. Now, the interesting thing about it is that they like alchemization. Is that a term? If it's not, it is now. But they lack the ability to be able to turn something negative into a positive, to have it work for their benefit. Because if it works for their benefit, then they'll be able to increase. But instead, they personalized it. And remember, the more you see, the more it's not personal anymore, the more it's general. You need to detach. The more you're not attached to the situation, you're not taking responsibility for it. You're looking at it wholly. And then now you're looking at this situation like there's nothing wrong with me. It's something going on with the other party. But unfortunately, people like to project their own insecurities, and then it hits a little nerve within them. And now they're involved in it. And now it becomes a battle of going back and forth, push and pull type of situation, instead of being still, observing and looking at the situation for what it is and how it is. And you're able to take control of it because it's not bothering you emotionally. You have Super Saiyan seeded it. Super Saiyan C, I like that, right? I kind of made that on the fly. Don't jack it now. I see it. You succeeded it. And then when you succeeded it, now you're able to look at it for what it is. And it's an insecurity. A lot of these, you got to realize that a lot of the problems are very simple, but I already covered it. Why is it simple so hard? Because the simple is something you can't avoid. You got to do it. And a lot of people don't want to do it. They want to ignore it, push it to the side, or find something to replace it. But certain things you can't replace. You gotta look at it straight in the face and go through it and get to it. That's the point of having the light turned on within you. When you turn the light on, you're gonna find traits within you that are so powerful that you knock to the side. And being that you knocked to the side, you were supposed to wash it and clean it. But being that you didn't wash it and clean it, you knocked it to the side and you kept putting on other energies, putting on other faculties, putting on other situations, and now that's created who you are. And now once that created who you are, you're no longer original anymore. Your personality is based on so many subsidiaries instead of who you are, until you meet somebody that's operating in their own light. And when they're operating in their own light, they're going to turn that light on to you autonomously. And when it turns your light on autonomously, you're going to see it for who you are, and you're going to see all the dirt that you could have cleaned and you didn't clean, and now you're looking out there looking on me. I digress, and that's it right there. Hold on, is that all of it? Yeah, that's all of it right there. And again, this message is for the adept out there, for the master, the expert, the proficient, self-efficient, the one that's always doing it and never losing it, that's growing, that's glowing, that's going at all times. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. And remember, do good, speak good, see good, because when it's good, it's all good. Can you dig it? And for the haters out there that love looking at your boy, make sure you look at my good side, because you know I'm... Woo! Peace, love, and light, guys. See you guys in the next video.